Get 'em.
Welcome, folks. Y'all come on in and make yourself at home. This here, well, this is the Rolling Thunder Podcast, your home for all things Rolling Thunder. This episode is brought to you by Mossy Oak, because everything is better in Bottomland. Kent Cartridge, quality matters, performance counts. Shen Gear, waterfowl gear that is built better. And Benelli USA, dominate the skies.
Welcome back to another episode of the Rolling Thunder Podcast. I'm your host, William Frawley, joined today by Spence Halford himself and a couple of other interesting guests that we'll get to in a minute.
How are you? How's day 17 on the job?
Running 90-0, same as day one.
Yep.
Well, not quite the same as day one because we were running 90-0 westbound on I-40, but
That's true, we were.
yeah.
But if you take all your hunting days and all your work days and you divide them by 2 right now, you're still in pretty good rare air. Don't expect it to stay like that. We never negotiated how many days you're going to hunt during turkey season.
I'm kind of letting my actions reflect that so we can discuss it on March 1st.
So you're already sandbagging. It's January the 4th and you're...
No. No, not at all.
My God, I can't. I can be mad about it, but it's not going to do any good. I've surrounded myself by people who like to hunt as much as I do. What was I thinking?
Yeah. It's the nature of the beast within the industry that we work in.
Oh, man.
Can't imagine that we're by ourselves.
Some companies don't have people working for them that like to hunt. And I feel sorry for those companies. That is not what we have going on around here.
Mm-mm.
Even Sarah likes to go hunting. Bless her heart. She'd like to go more than we let her.
Well, speaking of hunting, what you want to talk about today?
Man, I think that we got Drake and RT in the studio with us, what do we call this? This was a studio and it was a conference room and then a studio, and now it's become
It's pot call storage right now.
Yeah, it's a good thing Aaron's not gluing pot calls in here because we'd be high as a kite on sniffing glue. But no, I was just thinking about kind of oh gosh, I was thinking about one of the last episodes that we posted that was so popular, has been really popular, was from our trip in November to Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a fine season in Arkansas and Tennessee, and like nothing to complain about. But I'm not gonna lie, that 3 or 4 day run in Alberta in November was rare air, spectacular, radioactive. I don't know what words you use to describe, but that is next level stuff. That
It was cold, but it was way more fun and cold.
I want to call it once in a lifetime, but I really hope it's
not the only time you go. Yeah.
That's
once a year.
Great way of saying it. And it was cold, but I never got cold.
Mm-mm.
We didn't hunt long enough.
Never gave you a chance to get cold.
But
man,
I don't know what y'all's experience was like, but I can tell you that I've heard things about migration and duck movement and ducks feeding and just like duck behavior my whole life. And what I saw in Canada, November, the 3 days before Arkansas duck season, just honestly changed the way that I think about it. I mean,
it was -20 before we got up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And them ducks were still there.
Yeah.
They were there then. They were there when we got there.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable that.
They're probably still there.
I mean, your whole life you get taught it's weather. It gets cold, the ducks leave.
Yep.
Now.
And I think some do.
Sure.
But I mean,
you have your calendar ducks and your
Right.
all that kind of thing. But those ducks were not, like, cue up that Wolf of Wall Street video. I'm not leaving. They had found their little hole in the ice in their cornfield, and they were going to ride it out.
So correct me if I'm wrong, that cornfield, that was like true standing corn. The snow was just that high.
Yeah.
100% standing corn.
Yeah.
and
like full stalks of corn, and the snow was packed up to
and not just corn. It was sweet corn.
Yeah,
it was literally sweet corn that those people. I didn't get to talk to them. Thomas did a couple times. I don't know if they were Mennonite or Amish and I don't even know what the purpose of that corn was, why they didn't harvest it, but it was sweet corn. I ate it off the cob.
Yeah, you did. I tried a piece. I was like, nah.
A little dry.
It was a little dry. You had to let it soak in your mouth just a little bit.
But the snow and the high winds, like it had drifted up against those stalks. And just like they will when you flood an impoundment of corn, they'd walk up to the stalks and knock them ears off and then just go to, there were cobs on the ground bare.
When I was watching the video, it looked like just a cut cornfield that had maybe a couple inches of snow in it.
It was not cut.
And then somebody told me that it was standing corn. I was like, oh, and y'all were driving a truck on it and all that. Unbelievable.
And so we showed the episode we're talking about was one hunt. We hunted, 3 days?
3 days.
The first day we hunted morning and afternoon. And by morning and afternoon, I mean like 8:30 to 10:30 we shot geese. And then went and ate a half a gallon of chili
at Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons. Drank 15 pots of coffee. Literally ate all the chili they had that day. Just because we were like, man, if we go back out there and shoot those ducks, what are we going to do the rest of the afternoon? It's like we drug our feet until lunch.
Yeah.
And went out there and shot those ducks in like an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. So, the first day we literally hunted. Maybe we're in the field 3.5 hours total.
Maybe.
Chilling. We were in two completely different fields, 8 miles apart. Not the same birds at all. Shot an 8-man limit of honkers in the morning and shot an 8-man limit of powders in the afternoon.
That is unbelievable.
It was all right.
Yeah.
The only part of it that sucked was the cleaning job.
Yeah.
Because that's when you did get cold. Your dang appendages.
Yeah.
128 of any kind of critter is a lot of cleaning. But
God bless Thomas Gilpin.
And then we did that the second day and did it the third day. It was like
a video game.
The third day was the real mashing. That was stupid.
Yeah. But all of it, back to the point of the crop, what we were talking about, all of it was like these little patches of standing corn. And I just assumed it's all sweet corn. I have no idea what they were doing with it. But there were little spots like that all over the place. I don't know if they
maybe cattle?
turned cows out in the spring maybe. Or, when Thomas first told us about it when we were driving up there, he was like, I think these people are going out there and picking it. And, they might be, but I picked an ear of it, and it was after we shot our ducks, so it was not manipulating the crop.
That's right.
But, the ears were dried down, like the kernels were shriveled up. Mm-hmm. They tasted fine, but it was
like corn nuts, like a bag of corn nuts.
Yeah, it wasn't like a fresh ear of corn on the cob like we picked at my house back in June.
Yeah. Been frozen there for a minute.
But
so what day was the episode from? The first day?
First afternoon. So we shot all those geese in the morning. We went and ate ourselves sick on chili and then went straight to the field.
And we're just blowing past this goose hunt, but we pulled into this field and the snow was a foot deep. I don't know what the geese were eating or why they were coming there. But we set up in the broad daylight and they were flying around the field and they took the trucks to go park. Was it me and you, RT?
I stayed.
That's what I'm saying. Who was in the blind with me? Me and one
you
of
and Aaron.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so me and Aaron were sitting there and but they're parking the trucks within 300 yards from the spread. There's no cover, no trees, just like they pulled over because there were so many geese flying. We had two giant groups. Me and Aaron killed 6 or 7 while they're walking back into the spread. Mm-hmm. And then it was just more of that. We could have shot that whole 8-man limit of geese shooting them on the ground. They were all eating it up.
Yeah.
I've never seen before.
It was very, very good.
20 gauge didn't like him too much.
No. Drake had an interesting trip shooting wise. He's got some things
great
to get
with my
figured
phone
out.
camera.
Yeah.
I was fixing to say I was living vicariously through Drake's Snapchat that week Because the wind was blowing super, super hard, and you sent me a couple videos that the geese were just hovering like 2 feet over the ground, and they were just flapping their ass off trying to stay up off the ground, and they just weren't moving. That was unreal.
And those honkers, when they wanted to land, they put their feet down and they was sitting on the ground. They wanted out of that wind, and they wanted to just hang out right there.
I've never seen geese just put the e-brake on like that. Just freaking sit it down.
And there was nothing there for them to eat, nothing to break the wind. I mean,
we'd have to call Thomas and ask him.
If I remember correctly, it was a wheat field.
Yeah, there's wheat underneath it.
The goose field that we hunted. But like Spence said, there was a lot of snow on top of it.
yeah. Well, they
And there have been
like
so
turkeys,
many-
like scratching in the snow trying to get down.
Well, you couldn't, when we sat there in the spread, it wasn't like you were looking at bare patches of green grass or something
white.
coming up. It was white.
It looked
It
like
looked like the
Antarctica.
tundra. Yes. And it was there'd been so many geese there, it was packed down. So it was, instead of like fluffy snow, it was like hard packed, like I
Ice,
can't imagine
almost.
that a goose could stick its nose down through it to eat. I mean,
I don't know.
but they probably, I guess they sit there long enough to where they can make it melt or what. And
Yeah.
that's where they wanted to be.
You need
buddy.
to ask a goose grinder. I don't know.
get Levi in here. So if the episode was shot on the first day and you said the barn burner was on the third day,
It just was a good trip.
Yeah.
And the second day wasn't shabby.
I was fixing to say
Second
the
day wasn't
day, the lesser of three. I can't really say evil.
It was still very good.
The second day was fantastic hunting. We just hunted like a combo. The geese and the ducks were kind of together, and the place we hunted, we were pretty close to where they were roosted, and so like after we shot into the first 10 or 12 groups, like the bulk of them kind of moved over to another spot. But shoot, we shot so many that we were just kind of like, yeah, y'all want to go eat some more chili at Timmy Hortons? Or like, yeah. I mean, it just was.
Yeah,
almost.
It's not like we didn't shoot very many. I mean, we killed 305 flying,
Objects.
sporting fowl in 3 days.
That's more than most people see in 2 duck seasons.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. So that
It was almost something to dang hang your hat on. It was wild.
That is so that wasn't with Thomas. That's not where Thomas guides, though, is it?
Well, we can't talk about location.
We can't say.
But Thomas was absolutely not guiding. They were done. They'd been done for a while.
That's what I
He and
thought.
Cole were done.
Yeah.
So we were not in his allocation. We were in an area that he has had friends goofing off and freelancing in after, they're done running clients for a few years.
Yeah.
And he called and tried to get us to not come up there. He was like, man, I don't know if it's going to be any good. And their last 2 groups of customers, they canceled because of how much snow they got in their area. And I mean, right up to the last minute, I just told Thomas, I was like, Thomas, like, we got all our work done. It's just me and Drake and RT going from here. So we had Riley here to work, and we had Aaron to work. Like, we had the whole crew here to work, and we'd already bought our plane tickets. It wasn't like we were going to roll it back to later dates because it's Thanksgiving and Arkansas Ducks. He's like, what are we going to, I mean, like, best case scenario, we melt the barrel. Worst case scenario,
we eat a lot of chili.
we eat a lot of chili and drink a lot of beer.
There was a lot of nervous energy from the 6 of us on that flight up, though, I promise.
Yeah, it was. It
It
felt
was
kind
just a
of
little like, man, people don't
is this
do
a good idea?
Yeah.
It's just not often. That's a good point. It's not often hunting stuff that you're doing something basically nobody you've ever talked to has done. You know what I mean? Like, normally when you try something, it's like, well, like, okay, let's go hunt
talk to so-and-so.
Saginaw Bay. Well, nobody hunts there.
Yeah.
Like, there's usually a reason nobody goes there.
And no one thinks about going to Canada in November either.
Yeah. People that live in Canada do, I think.
Well, I would imagine so. You would think.
Not many of them. They think about wishing they could come to
they wanna
America.
leave.
But anyway, so let's get y'all. When Thomas told us that we were going to shoot in standing corn, what was y'all's thought?
Oh, hell yeah.
I thought, well, I've never filmed in standing corn out of a layout, so
That's what I was just fixing to say.
Send
Not
it.
only standing corn, but layouts of standing corn.
I'll be
But
honest,
it's
I
not the
was
same.
I was skeptical. I'm just naturally a cynic, and I was just like,
Yeah.
And this has nothing to do with trusting Thomas, because Thomas is an exceptionally talented scout, hunter. Like, Thomas is good at what he does, one of the best. So I totally didn't doubt Thomas, but in my mind, I was like, there's no way this is going to work out that well.
That is just, I think, a seasoned duck hunter's mentality. I don't ever, like, night before, I'm never like, God, we're going to get them.
Yeah.
I'm like, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
Yep.
Aim low and avoid disappointment.
That's right.
And it wasn't just a whole lot of ducks we were hunting either.
No.
Yeah,
By the end of the trip, we were running out of greenheads.
Yeah.
Shot all the rest of them left again.
No lie. Thomas swears, I wish he was here, we could let him defend himself. He swears we were hunting a group of ducks. It was about 1,000 ducks. Mm-hmm. That's what he kept saying. And I didn't believe it until the third day, like RT's point, because
Shot a third of them.
the group that we shot on the third day was the same group we shot on the first afternoon. And, like, we shot a bunch of hens the third day.
We shot more the third day than
The
we
weather
did.
was crummy, and we were just like, let's shoot our ducks
Yeah.
and get out of here. And we were trying to shoot geese and ducks that last day, and Drake wasn't helping us shoot geese because
Sure
he was
wasn't.
like, I ain't cutting one of them big suckers anymore.
That just blows my mind. I could not imagine Drake not
Well, he
shooting
couldn't
a
hit
deer.
him anyway. So it's beside he was just wasting ammunition at that point.
Pretty much. But,
The last day he could have hit them because they were landing on the ground on his end.
yeah. And I was choosing not.
and I
I didn't
was-
even shoot at a single one.
I was leaning out, shooting across everybody, going, "Dadgummit, Drake! Don't let those geese out your
Sitting
end."
there with his phone in his hand recording.
He just looked and goes, "Sorry, boss."
Yeah, by the end of the trip, Aaron was like, I like when I sit by you.
Yeah, Aaron is down for some trigger pulling.
Oh man, he's got a lot of Bobby Sears in him.
Yeah.
Little Bobby. That's right.
Little Bobby.
I forgot Aaron went with us. That's right. He had a ball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Aaron's ever seen anything like that.
I don't think we've ever seen anything
No.
like that.
I know I haven't. But
No. Man,
Closest thing to standing corn I've been in is at Delta Wings and seeing thousands of ducks, but it wasn't in the snow.
yeah, the snow was like a cool factor. It just bumped it up, you know. Like, yes, like the hunting was so great. Yes, you know, we're in standing corn, and now there's snow on the ground, and the wind's blowing, and the sun's shining. It was just like checking all the boxes.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that first afternoon of that episode, the sun was coming over our right shoulder, like it was from our right shoulder. So we were, what would that make it? Us facing like north,
Facing?
east? Like,
Yeah.
Sun was behind us. We
East.
were facing northeast.
yeah. So the sun was over our shoulder, going down over our right shoulder. But when those ducks would come over the water, like looking forward, you could see their shadows coming over the corn. They were,
Yeah, the first group surprised us, and like no working, no calling, no nothing.
Yep.
I was not ready. I was watching in front of me, and all of a sudden it's just black. I mean, Spence in the freaking video. They blacked the sun out. And so like everything went dark, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, red button, red button, red button.
yeah.
That's one thing that I noticed watching the episode is y'all didn't do much calling at all. Probably because you didn't have to. They wanted to be in there so bad.
By the third day, we had to work them a little bit because they were
Yeah.
the same ducks. But I mean,
The hide was so dirty. I mean, I don't know what was more powerful, whether it was they were eating corn off the cob like Donald Duck in the cartoon, you know, or if it was because we were so well hid, or if it was because they were so hungry. I don't know what the motivator was, but our hide every time was so awesome. One, because we didn't have to brush blinds. We had
my
snow
God.
covers on. Hello.
yeah, amazing.
That's the greatest thing going. Like, I'd rather bring 3 acres of fake snow to a field than have to brush another layout blind. Like, snow covers is the jam.
Yeah, it is.
And then with the corn being standing, you know, you take for granted how much some dimension to the cover, like 5 stalks here, and then a few more behind it, and you back up behind that, and you've got 4 objects between you and the decoys. I mean,
Yeah.
we weren't even having to get down in the blind. I mean,
those ducks were like, you know, they were doing the whole look for a spot to land. They were not looking at the calling. It was, no, man. They were,
They'd land 5 feet from us.
The last day
And
when I was trying to finish up my limit, which that alone should tell you how good the hunting was. 2 of the 3 days, I shot my entire 8 duck limit by myself.
Yeah.
That has never happened on a 4 duck limit anywhere I've ever filmed. I shot, which shout out to the guy. The first day I was like, y'all aren't shooting? Okay. I couldn't believe it that they let me shoot my whole, which, I mean, it was just awesome. But that the cameraman at the end, usually you shoot a couple ducks.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I shot 8 ducks. Spence Instagram Live.
Yeah, the whole time.
Is
The
that what
last
the
day I
live
had
was
3
RT shooting?
Yeah, and it was a 7-minute video.
Yeah.
So RT shot all 8 of his ducks in a 7-minute span without. There's no edit, no.
No.
That's how good it
Calling
was.
his own shot.
And they were all green.
right.
And they were all greenheads.
Drake called him in for me.
Yeah.
That was funny.
That's the life right there. You get to shoot
Right.
on your own. You got Drake calling for
Yep.
you.
I didn't take
You
my
ain't got
lanyard.
nobody else to worry about pulling up on a duck and it dies before you take the shot. No.
You know, it was a work trip, so I didn't take my lanyard. I'm not calling. So I see these ducks off to the right. On the first day, I'm sitting next to Drake, and I should go, call those ducks, Drake.
He goes, he points us, call those. And just sit back in.
I want that one. That's hilarious.
If I'm hunting with a world champ, I dang sure I'm going to take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
2 of them.
Yeah.
It's never been so irrelevant calling in my life. I mean, it was like, oh, okay, you want me to make some chatter sounds? Okay.
Quack. Here they come.
And we only shoot, what do we have, about a dozen decoys?
Yeah, not
The
very
first
many.
day was not many at all.
And I thought that was cool. You've said that several times. And I don't know if it's just because the way we all grew up hunting in Arkansas, but like there's something pretty neat about shooting them when there's almost no decoys or no decoys at all. Kind of like that waterhole hunt in Canada. It was just like, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, man, we could set up right here to be perfect. Like, man, it's already 6:30. What are we doing? Let's get out of these trucks.
Yeah, that day we would have absolutely greased them on that first pond, but it was very cool.
Yeah, seeing them come through the
Seeing them
trees.
come through the trees.
Yeah.
Jason probably would have got hit in the nuts.
Probably not. Exactly. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't believe he didn't buy a Mega Millions ticket after that kind of luck.
Yeah.
The other thing that stands out to me from that first hunt, and I don't know how y'all feel about this, but there were enough ducks that Thomas was like, we should just only shoot greenheads. And we were like, whatever. You know, people say that.
Yeah.
But these groups of ducks, it'd be like 30, 40 ducks. And then Drake would be cell phone videoing, and he would be, you know, real camera videoing. And then Adam would be, or Thomas would be taking photographs. And then, like, it'd be like me and Derek shooting.
Yeah.
And you'd pull up, and there, you know, the sky would be black with ducks, and finding a greenhead when you need a greenhead to shoot and there's 40 in the air was maddening. Because it's like, you pull up, you go, you don't realize how often.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. And that, like, you do that once or twice, and then, but like the 17th time you do that, it's like, oh, this is,
I just want to shoot a duck.
Yeah.
I just want to shoot a duck.
I feel like the redneck in me would just take over.
Well, that's what happened on day 3.
Yeah.
Day 3, I was like,
We don't care.
I was like,
Grocery
guys,
shopping.
let's get at it.
Snow's
get in
coming.
and get out.
Let's do this and get out of here.
But that first day, we shot 64, and 3 of them were hens. So we shot 61 greenheads.
Yeah, I shot
and the
2 of
3.
them.
Yeah, the
Two
3
of them.
hens. You shot 2 hens? Mm-hmm. Okay. I know Derek shot a hen. Or no, I shot a hen. Did Derek shoot a
Derek shot the first one.
hen? Okay.
In the video, the pair
pair?
that landed.
Yeah.
How about that greenhead doing a backflip, though?
Yeah.
Oh no, they both got
Somebody just-
grease popped.
But for big groups like that, that was selective shooting to not accidentally kill another hen. The 3 hens that got killed were intentional. Like, let's, RT,
Yeah.
please shoot your ducks and get out of here.
I can't feel my hands.
My favorite one that I shot was that group that we back clapped them and did what we did, and there was a cripple that was just kind of falling right in front of the blinds, like maybe 6 inches off the ground. It's right in front of me, about 10 feet, and
Snow goes everywhere. It looked like one of those. It looked like the rabbit at the sporting clays course that goes bouncing, and you have to time your bounce, and he shoots her, and snow goes everywhere.
it was awesome.
Shoots him. But yeah, that was pretty spectacular. And the last day we got checked, which I've never been checked in Canada. And the game wardens were nice as they could be, very polite. And we actually, that day, we didn't quite have our goose limit. We were real close, 50-something. And we stopped a couple short on our duck limit. I think we stopped at 60 or 61 because we were we had a couple fall, far, and we saw them fall. And so I think we thought we had 2 that had fallen long, and we stopped at 60, so we had a margin of error or 2, kind of thing. And they come out and they check us, and like while they're checking us, and we had just taken a big group picture, so we had all our ducks divided, and I mean we were perfectly legal, everything was good. While they're in the field, Thomas's truck and trailer and 2 Jeeps, like our rental cars, so 3 vehicles and a trailer, stuff spread everywhere. They've got a truck, like the ducks are trying to land in the field the entire time.
Still.
Like, honestly, the ducks were flying better while we were in the field and they were checking us than they were while we were hunting. Yep. Like, because the snow had started again, and so it was just.
They got desperate.
It was that weather, kind of turned up the heat. And as they're dressed, so they check us and we're done and, shaking hands and, we get our clean bill of health. And they go to drive out and they get about 150 yards down the end of the windrow and they stop. And we're like, oh, crap. They get out, and one dude walks through the corn, picks up a greenhead, tosses it in the back of his truck, and they go like a little further and then turn left and stop again. And we're like, oh, my gosh, they found another one. They come back, and they're like, now, listen, y'all need to make a walk around. You need to look. Y'all need to be, we don't want to come back out here later on and find another one. So at that point, we were a little apprehensive. We made a big walk around, and we found one more. That it was one of the ones we knew.
Yeah.
But that was kind of a cool but weird thing to me. Was like, I'll be honest, I don't normally stop,
right?
Because I'm worried about whether or not one sailed off or whatever. And Thomas was insistent upon it. He was like, I know I watched one sail off over there. We need to go try to find it. So let's back off. And I guess I say that just because. I appreciate Thomas saying that and thinking through that, because I would not have normally thought through it that way, that well in the moment. Just would have, how many do we have, and keep dividing them amongst everybody's ducks and, keep straight so that you're legal, but not think about, did we get that one? Did we get, what I mean? Yeah. And for that, to have that happen and then to have the wardens there and to check and then to pick up, 3 more, I was kind of like, dang, that taught me something. I was real glad that we
paid attention.
Yeah, I'm real glad we paid attention, because that would have been a terrible damper to to accidentally have one too many ducks or something and get a ticket as you're leaving the day before Arkansas duck season. That sucked.
Yeah. How was it flying up there compared to driving? Like, how much better was it?
Oh,
or God. Was it better?
Yeah, it was better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely better.
There's not
when
much.
we went to Canada the first time, Rob and I split 32 hours, the whole brutal. I would do it tomorrow. It was horrible. And Rob got
I would do it tomorrow. It's horrible.
Rob got some type of allergy. Some type of dust from the harvest. His eyes were so swollen up. Oh my God.
They were harvesting. Everybody was harvesting crops going up there. And dude, his face went from like red. He looked like Porky the Pig when he got up there. He couldn't open his eyes. They were all puffed up.
It was bad.
He couldn't see to drive. I had to drive about 28 hours.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
So,
but yes, the flying was better.
Oh, yeah.
I would say it's always good to grab your own luggage.
Oh, yeah.
But flying was definitely better.
Speaking of grabbing your own luggage, I'll tell that story, but make a mental note. Pro tip, don't buy your luggage from Walmart, because there's a lot of Walmarts in the world, and the luggage they have at your Walmart is the same luggage they have at my Walmart. So we got to Calgary, and we're checking our, got the app, on the phone, make sure all the luggage is there, because we're worried about guns and all that stuff. everything delivers, and so it's all good. And we're chipper. We've been having cocktails for a couple hours. Thomas is sending us videos of ducks everywhere. We're like, we're about to smash the guts. I mean, like highest of highs. Mm-hmm. Grab all the bags, and I get mine. And it's a big Samsonite hunter green color, like a rolling bag. Mm-hmm. And it's a big one I bought for trips just like this. So you can like put bibs in it and knee-high boots and whatever you need. Way too big,
Yeah.
And I pick it up, and I'm like, dang, they busted the hell out of this thing. One of the zippers is busted, and one of the wheels was broken. I mean, I bought it back in May when I went to Rapid City with a trip to turkey hunting. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, this has been brutally, destroyed.
Yeah.
Didn't think much of it. Get back there to customs. We go all the way through customs, and they rake us over the coals, go through all the guns, register all the numbers. And I can't remember what he asked for, but he asked for something. The customs guy asked for something that I had in my bag. Or maybe I took my hoodie off or something. It was hot in there. And I opened up the bag, and there was like a whole bunch of crap that was clearly not mine. And like I unzipped it, and I mean, it just kind of fell out, and I was like, what the crap? It was literally like the first thing I saw was like a gallon-sized Ziploc baggie that had some sort of medicine or something in it, and I was like, that ain't mine.
It was not a bunch of shin gear. Let's just put it that
It
way.
was not. There was not one piece of hunting clothing in there. And so, like, I started digging around. Well, shoot, at this now we're through customs in Calgary, and I don't have my bag. So I go to the customs agent, and he's like, well, we'll go back to the carousel. Well, I'm like, well, we've been on the ground 45 or 50 minutes at this point. Whose ever bag I've got, they clearly got my bag because I've got an identical bag. He ain't waiting around. Like, he didn't unzip his bag to find out that he's got a pair of, rubber boots and over and under jacket and, Carhartt bibs. And, and mind you, it's like negative 27 degrees.
It's cold.
And wind is blowing 40 miles an hour. So
There's a foot of snow on the ground.
the customs agent's like, oh, you can go to the Walmart. I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't need snowmobile gear. But so we go back through, and I just basically leave the bag with whoever the gate agent or whatever at the carousel.
Yeah.
And so we leave the airport in Calgary, and I don't have my bag. I mean, we left, and we drove 3 hours from there. And I called, the airline. We figured out the guy's name because it was on the
Prescription bottle.
no, the barcode on the
luggage tag.
Luggage tag. Yeah, the gate agent was able to look up whose it was, but they didn't have his number. They didn't have his contact information. So I started Facebook stalking every person that had that same name in Calgary. Of course, like 3 people responded. 3 dudes that had the exact same name responded, said it wasn't their bag. And then all of a sudden, like the next afternoon, the airline calls and is like, we're bringing your bag. I was like, what?
Like bringing it to you.
Yeah, they brought it to the hotel, delivered it. Yeah.
People
Yeah,
in
because they
Canada are
told you
nice.
they weren't going to bring it, right?
They
told you you were gonna have
wanted
to come get
they
it.
wanted me to come get it, and they were like, we can't bring it because you didn't file a claim. And I'm like, file a claim? Like, how do you file a claim for this? Like, I got my bag, he got his bag, we just both got the wrong bag.
Yeah.
And I said, I've been on the phone with y'all like 4 different times for nearly an hour. I mean, I said, can I just pay y'all to deliver it? Because at this point, I've figured out after the first hunt, I ain't gonna get cold. I could sit out there in my blue jeans, and house shoes, and shoot. Sit in the car until they start flying, and run out there and shoot my ducks.
And your favorite cameraman ever brought you an extra pair of boots.
That's true. You did bring an extra pair of boots. So that was pretty clutch, and there was enough clothes to go around. So day 1, I borrowed some clothes. Day 2, I had my own clothes. It worked out.
I can't believe they brought it.
I mean, it's a trip of I can't believes, honestly.
Pretty much.
I mean, I can't believe that we swapped the luggage. I can't believe they brought it to us. I can't believe we shot them and stand in
Can't believe we ate Tim Hortons out of chili. I mean,
And the third day, the last can't believe
Yeah.
is we shot out that morning, shot our duck limit, and we were done.
Oh,
we
no.
got to Boston Pizza at like
1 o'clock.
like
Maybe.
11:30.
Yeah.
We ate 2 full meals.
Yeah, we did.
We ate lunch at Boston Pizza, like 8 of us. Did not leave. Shift change. All paid the lunch bill. Sat there, drank a few more beers, watched a little more TV, ate dinner, drank a few more drinks. We left there at like 9 p.m. We sat there through 2 full shifts and closed.
We put in a whole work day at Boston Pizza.
We were gone from America
That's
4
a good,
days, and we
honest
shot
day's
more
work.
than I've seen die in the first 2 splits of Arkansas duck season, man. Didn't hunt a full 8 hours that we were there.
And you opened and closed
Boston Pizza. That's right.
100%.
People forget.
Yep.
They will
I think
not
this
forget
might
us.
be.
They will not forget
They
us.
will not.
Next year, they're like, oh, God.
Thomas
they're
said
back.
Yeah, this is actually too many Americans. We have a quote on how many can come in the restaurant at one time.
Just send Gerke up for the spokesperson. They believe
yeah,
he's from
there
up
he
there.
is.
Like, oh, you're one of us. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was one for the books for sure. And then we all came back, and man, we hit the ground. We thought we were going to miss our flight on the way home.
Oh my gosh!
I had to
Shout
run
out
through the
freaking track star over
God
here running through
almighty.
Houston Airport.
Still got it. Ran
Man.
37 gates in about
I ran them in a pair of
5.5
shin knee
minutes.
boots, too.
You did. You ran half of them.
Yeah. Man, I ran a lot.
I just want you to be candid with everyone.
I wish
By
I
the
had
time that I
run.
got there, my side was cramping so hard. I felt like a real fat piece of trash.
We all did. I'll tell you who can still hustle is Adam Campbell.
Yeah, man.
That boy can still got some wheels. He was right on my heels. But we were late coming back, like our flight got delayed. But because that was Thursday night before duck season opener, I was really proud of the fact that we booked ourselves a flight home that had us sleeping at the house one more night before the Arkansas grind, you know? So we were all pumped to go home, see mama, eat dinner at the house, you know, all that kind of jazz. And heck, then our flight gets delayed leaving Calgary or wherever I don't remember where our connecting flight was from, but it got delayed. And so we didn't think we were going to make it. We rushed all the way there, and sure enough, we made it. And slept at the house and
Had to pick up the bags the next day at Memphis.
Yep. But everybody got their bags, and it all worked out. And now it's Arkansas duck season.
I would have paid good money to watch you guys looking at through an airport like that.
I was wearing these.
Son.
I'm pretty sure I was wearing these same bibs.
Yeah, you were.
I'm very proud. I've traveled a lot, and I'm very proud of the fact that when it's like the time when the plane hits the gate, and then that ding, you know, and everybody stands up, I've never advanced from my seat. It doesn't matter if I'm in seat 1, row 1, or row 32. And we had all talked about it, and I'd mapped it out on the brochure in the back, like where the gate was. This when I was like, guys, it's like I was the front one, so of the rows, we were all sitting on an aisle, and I said, as soon as it's right before he hits the ding button, I'm going to advance like 12 aisles. And so I did, and it didn't help much, but got off.
They waited on us.
We ran the hole.
That might be the full extent of that trip. Might be a once in a lifetime trip.
Probably.
There was a lot of ways that could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot.
between the luggage and almost missing the flight. So was Tim Hortons chili really that good, or was it just the only option? Or did they just
there
not
was
have
plenty
that
of
much
options.
chili?
It was banging.
It was good.
It's good.
I don't know. Tim Hortons is just Tim Hortons. I'm not one to really.
Well, I just mean that's a
Rate Tim
lot of
Hortons.
chili. To eat a restaurant out of chili, that's a lot.
I don't think they were prepared for Americans, and
Not 8 of them.
like,
Especially between you two and Adam.
well, we would just like.
What do you mean, you two and Adam? What's that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
It means both of y'all can put
Bean
away
pole,
some food. That's
bean
why.
pole sound like you throwing some shade
RT
over
and I
there.
got to stay away from strong winds. Y'all two can put away some food. Get blown over.
Well,
Me, maybe not RT, but definitely me.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like
solid
Flat
under here. I
Stanley.
don't know about you.
Solid bone.
Come
Skinny as I am.
Toby Keith said, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
Yep.
You don't want to get in an eating contest with me.
I don't want to get in the eating contest with anybody.
I'm not an eating competitor. I can tell you that right now.
No, you're not, Mr.
I was
Bold
not
Raven.
going to say it, but
Nope. I'm not that guy.
I will say
You're
this.
not that guy, pal.
You pinned your ears back and gave her hell. I was proud of you. You focused. And
Me and Dalton were talking at Open Seasons eating the other day, and we both had these two big old giant cheeseburgers, and we both looked at each other like we done messed up. And he's like, you know what this reminds me of? And I was like, don't say it.
that's exactly the way
Don't
y'all
say
say
it.
it. You know what this reminds me of?
Yeah, and I look over, I was like, I know. He's like, what is it? You know what is it? I was like, the challenge. Like, yeah.
We need Dalton on a podcast. That was a colorful sucker there.
Yeah, he is.
That would be something.
Oh, me. So anyways, second week of November, y'all in?
Most definitely.
Cool.
I reckon so.
I won't even carry a gun. I just want to go watch.
There's a lot of people that have said that, but Thomas says that these are going to be like SEC football tickets. They're going to get passed down when somebody dies, but until then,
Okay.
you know,
Group cannot exceed 8. That's what he said.
he said group size does not change.
It's like the blinds at Real Foot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all right. We didn't do too bad on our first trip, so you stick around here and do a good job. We might invite you on that one.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get Drake on his first turkey, then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Lots of big talkers around here.
I'm telling you.
I think you know who you need to go with.
I think I know too. I also think that this year is going to be a really good year for Drake in Spring Woods.
I do too.
Okay.
I would, instead of saying I think he knows who he needs to go with, I was actually going to say I think he knows who he needs to not go with.
Yeah, that too.
Is that enough shade?
That's right. I think everyone knows.
I don't want to say anybody's name. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but
But he knows.
he knows. That's exactly right. Hair boy, is that what we're calling him?
Mr. Stinky.
Oh, God.
All right, we're digging a hole.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Let's sign off.
All right, let's see what your sign off skills are like, Squints.
How did I do it yesterday?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Oh, gosh.
I'm trying to remember what Rob does.
I'm not bailing you out of this.
Come on.
You're a pro. Come on, Squints. I mean,
Pro. I barely hit double
You've hosted
digits.
podcasts for 2 different major corporations in the
That's a good point.
outdoor industry.
That's a good point.
Get it together.
Got to pull it together.
Stage fright.
Well, I really enjoyed hearing the story about this, seriously. I heard other people talk about it, but I haven't heard it from y'all three. So
We really just kind of scratched the surface on it. I mean,
Yeah.
we could
We could
probably
do a
talk
part
for
2 and part
hours
3.
about this.
do a part for each day.
I got so many dang good killing videos on my phone.
Yeah, the cram cam.
The Instagram, for some reason.
Have you seen
That's
where that's caught on? Someone tagged me in a Instagram post today, and the caption was, "There was too much cram for the cam."
Cram!
Yeah.
How did that start?
So there's this video on the internet. It's this voiceover, this guy that does different voiceovers, but whatever it is, there's these goats that were just like headbutting each other, and he voiced over like both goats like talking crap to each other. Like, oh, you want to come at me? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And they'd hit each other, cram, cram, and that's kind of where it came from.
I just know at some point we're mashing the guts out of mallards, and I kept hearing this cram, 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 and then I'd hear somebody else quoting it, cram, cram.
That was like the perfect ending for the video.
Yeah.
With just, kill him, boom, boom, boom.
Oh,
Man. All right, let's hear it.
have you
Let's do it.
thought of a way to wrap this one up?
Yes.
All right.
No pressure. Don't put me on a spot or nothing. But, well, we appreciate you guys stopping by and listening in again. And we'll catch you on the next one.
See you on the next one.
We'll see you on the next one.